Today we've got comedian and content creator and podcaster Will Gibb. Hello, Will.
Wow, hi everyone. The one thing I've always found so weird is like every single, bloke that, I speak to has a dick that's bigger than 6 inches.
How are you all above average?
What do you wish you learned about sex and relationships earlier?
Honestly, anything to do with like gay sex. Like I didn't know a single thing. I still don't. I reckon I would be the worst route ever. Like I'm a dud route. I mean, like I would watch porn and I would be like, that's what gay sex is. But then you do it and I'm like, damn, like they went really fast. Like I can't do that. First time I've ever seen the head of my penis. In my head, I pull my pants down and she goes, like that. Oh my God, everyone get in here. Look at this.
What are the signs that someone should break up?
That's a good question.
An online petition has gone viral.
Concerns that teach us consent has with the algorithm.
To mandate holistic and age-appropriate consent lessons.
Teachers' consent's relatable, trusted, and actually so useful.
And the incredible people at Teachers Consent.
Oh, hey, that's us.
Oh, hi. All right, we're on. Welcome to the Teach Us Consent podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, follow us. You can watch the vodcast there and just follow us wherever you're listening. To be honest, I'm Anthony Stefanos and joined by my co-host Tess Fuller.
Hi, Anthony.
And our producer Annabelle Kableen.
Hi.
And by a very special guest today, we've got comedian and content creator and podcaster Will Gibb. Hello, Will.
Wow, hi everyone.
Would you like to add anything else to your intro?
Sex god. No, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's
Beauty.
Yeah.
So regularly we would run through some of the biggest news stories of the week and sort of shocking research that pertains to sex, dating and relationships. But today we thought we'd just learn a bit about Will's experience instead, navigating that stuff himself. But we will still have Belle leading the quickie for us, which is a little educational palate cleanser in the middle of the pod. What have you got for us today, Belle?
Today we're going to be talking about adult circumcision, which is actually something that Will has experienced himself. So we'll be getting into that later in the episode. But before we begin, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we're recording today, the Gadigal people, and pay our respects to their elders past and present. And just a quick heads up as well, we will be talking about some sensitive topics in today's episode, such as homophobia, sexual violence, and genital modification. So please listen with care and compassion for yourself and switch off at any point.
All right, so Will, we're going to start big and broad and with a heavy one. What do you wish you learned about sex and relationships earlier?
Interestingly, like you're talking like school-wise or just early, like whenever.
Maybe a bit of both, yeah.
Honestly, anything to do with like gay sex. Like I didn't know a single thing. I still don't. I still don't. I said I reckon I would be the worst route ever. Like I'm a dud route. Like just because like it's I never knew. Like do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I don't really know anything. And especially like if you take like what do you learn from? Like do you learn from like porn? That's like
Did you?
Unrealistic. I mean like I would watch porn and I would be like that's what gay sex is. But then you do it and I'm like damn like. They went really fast. Like I can't do that. Like,
there was no foreplay.
Yeah, I was like, "What's going?" I was like, "What?" And then I was like, "Oh, okay, it's actually like harder to do and all that sort of stuff." So, like, yeah, honestly, I just wish I knew literally anything. Which I know, like, that's obviously such a broad response, but like, yeah, I was shocked at like how different it is and all that sort of stuff. Even things like we didn't even learn how to like put on a condom.
Really?
Yeah.
So what did your sex ed look like at school?
It was very much just like looking at anatomy and understanding like this is what happens. It was more so like this is what happened. This is what can happen after sex is like someone can get pregnant. That was kind of what the sex was like or what the teaching was like. It was like, yeah, like there might be pregnancy at the end. And I'm like, probably not.
Not in my case.
Yeah. I was like, maybe not for mine. But like, yeah, that was kind of the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a really similar experience at school, but we did get condoms. And not only that, but we got them in the dark. So we had a banana.
That's cool.
And then after we mastered
Wait, so
it.
did you say in the dark?
Yeah, so we mastered it with the lights on and then the teacher flicked the lights off through the blinds and was like, now do it in the dark. Because we would generally be in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
But I feel like we also got abstinence-based education, which is that stuff around, it's kind of like fear-based because to a young person, becoming pregnant after doing something is quite terrifying. And I feel like the underlying message of that like depiction of pregnancy or childbirth, like we watched a video of childbirth in year 6, is don't have sex or you'll get pregnant and die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember thinking, what are the messages that I'm being sent here? Or was it just like, I just go to class and then don't even think about it?
To be honest, like I wasn't really paying much attention, which is bad, obviously. But I think like, yeah, it was just very much like, this is what can happen. It wasn't like, this is what sex is or what sex is going to be. It was like, this can happen if you don't do these things, which was very much the case. And then it's like, okay, then what does sex actually, like, let's take away that then. Like, what is it then? You know, let's say I do all the right things. What am I actually doing? I don't know.
Yeah. So how did you work out what you were doing, and how did it feel those like first few experiences where like the sex education you were getting, there was just such an absence of like representation?
Well, I like didn't really do anything till I was like out of school. Like I would kiss girls and stuff, but you know, I at least I thought I was straight until I left school, and then I didn't know I was gay till I was 17, which is crazy, 16 even. So that took a while for me to kind of process all that, and then by that time, like I was put into an all-male college at Sydney Uni, so I was just kind of in the exact same environment again, and you know, I'd see guys here and there, but because of the adult circumcision that we will go into later, sex was so painful for me and uncomfortable that I didn't really want to do it very much. And I reckon there was a period from when I was like 20 to like 23 even where I was just like completely abstinent, just because it just wasn't really on my mind, like at all. Yeah. So it was just like one of those things where it's like my experiences are limited, and I'm not like ashamed of that at all. But like it's just that thing where it's just like far out, like this is uncomfortable for me.
I'm curious then, like what was your experience like in school or towards the end of your schooling as you realised you were gay? Were you in an all-boys school before?
Yeah,
like,
I was in an all-boys
college
school.
as well?
Yeah. It was fine. Like it was very yeah, I don't know, because I would just have crushes on all my friends and stuff like that. Like that was kind of the vibe. And like I would still like go and kiss girls and be like, oh, I really wanted to get with her. But then I'd go home and like watch gay porn. But it still didn't click. Because I was like,
math and Will.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh, but I wanted to kiss this girl. So this doesn't mean I'm gay. And so that was kind of my experience right up until I left school and eventually came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask, like, when you were in school and not as sexually active as your friends as well, did you notice that or feel any pressure? Like when we talk to young people all the time, there is so much pressure to lose your virginity, like get a blowjob ASAP, or even like start hooking up with people really early. And that pressure can like lead us to do things that we kind of don't want to do. And it comes at all genders in all kinds of ways. I just wondered if that was your experience too.
Yeah, I guess I felt like I was missing some aspect, like maybe I was like feeling lonely or something, but I don't think like it was necessarily something that was like always on my mind. I think I was just like surrounding myself with like drama and friends and that sort of stuff. So like I wasn't like, oh, I need to be partying and getting with girls and all that stuff. Like I felt like that was a part of me that I wanted to do, but it wasn't like consuming me, I guess. It was more so like, okay, well, if this side is confusing to me, all this, and I don't understand it, then I'm going to put all my energy into something that I do understand, which is kind of good. Yeah.
We speak about gender expectations a lot on the pod, and curious, because I went to an all-boys school as well, and like the kind of pack mentality and then just broader society, there was lots of subliminal messaging about like how to be a man and masculinity. What was sort of your takeaway of those two things growing up? Like, did it have an effect on you?
Takeaway as in like what they thought it was, or what
you thought maybe you had to be as a man or like live up to in terms of masculinity.
I felt it was very much like at my school, like the boys that played rugby was like, that was masculinity. It was like the boys that played footy, the boys that had the girlfriends and had like lost their virginity, like that was like those are like, that's masculine. And then there was like the weird kind of drama kids that was like that, they were like a bit weirder, and that's where I fell into. So I think like that like was honestly like, if I drew like a spectrum of masculinity, that's what I would have thought it would be. It would be like footy boy at the peak, and then like the base would be like, I don't even know, me.
Has that changed? Has that changed to like today, like how you view it?
Definitely. Like when I think about now, like what I see as masculinity, it's like, when I eventually came out, all those people that made me feel like safe and like created an environment for me to be myself, like that is what I viewed as like, they were the most masculine people that I would say that I knew, were the people that like, oh, I can express myself and I can feel safe doing so. Like that safety to me is what I would see like masculinity as, like, and anyone who created that net for me was kind of what I would see. And like that net to kind of, you know, protect me from homophobia or that sort of stuff. Like that's what I would kind of see it as. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so bloody beautiful.
Yeah.
Like these days, a lot of the like conversation about quote unquote toxic masculinity, which isn't really a term that we use much, is so much about like men being defined by their perimeters. So what they can't do. So like you can't be girly, you can't be gay, you can't have these interests, as opposed to what you can do, which is like be a really empathetic person, or be a bloody fantastic friend, like create space for everyone to express themselves. Like those are fantastic human traits. So it's really just really nice to hear you say that. Yeah.
Can we pivot to the content, the type of content that you create? Because a lot of it sometimes like centers around relationships or dating. I'm just curious, what is like so universally funny about dating? Because
Good question, hey?
Like
yeah.
there's so much comedy in it that like you've tapped into. And I don't know, I've kind of got my own thoughts, but I'm curious as to like if you've ever thought about it critically or if you're just doing funny shit.
Yeah, I think like for me, dating, it's one of those things where it's universal. Like when I think of like universal experiences, and then I like completely universal experiences, and then I think about videos of mine that like people know me for, the ones that like the overlap there is that it's something everyone does. So like dating, like we all have to date, and it's something that we're all scared of and nervous of. And there's a social expectation around a date where you're kind of on your best behavior. But not only that, with dating, I find it interesting because you don't even really get to know the person you're dating until maybe the third or fourth date is when you kind of start to show your true self. Like, you know, I'm a really fussy eater, but on a first date, I will probably take someone to a restaurant that I could eat anything on the menu. So maybe the third or fourth date is when you realize, oh, he's a fussy eater. So you see those true traits. So I think the humor of like being on a first date and this person coming in and being horrible is like subverting and like tapping into those fears of like what we think could happen. I feel like that's maybe where the comedy comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
What were your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts was you kind of touched on it, like it's such a universal thing that we all do, but we all feel super vulnerable doing. And then we just all get a bit awkward doing it and shy about it, even though we're all doing it. And so like a side of us comes out that's like kind of us, but also a bit of a caricature, or like the side that we want the person dating to see, which is just funny because like we can all tell we're not really being ourselves.
Yeah.
There's a catharsis in realizing that you're not alone, and also that if you're dating people who are performing as caricatures of themselves and like exhibiting all these stereotypes about like men holding fish on Hinge profiles and just being generally like smelly and chubby, then you're not alone as well.
Yeah.
Maybe like the collective experience, which you were talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. One of my favorite pieces of content of yours, which is really old now, and like not to say you haven't done anything good since 2024, but is the like, the couple that needs to break up.
Oh, yes.
With you and Tilly.
Yeah.
And again, maybe like a question that is difficult to answer, but why do you think you have such a grasp on why, or like the characteristics of a shit relationship? Like, how have you learned that?
I reckon just, again, growing up, not dating, I would witness all the dates, or like even when I would go out clubbing with my friends, like, you know, I was never on the pool, but they were, so I would see the kind of interactions and things like that. Or like I love seeing like dynamics between two people, because when I'm not invested in it and I'm not on my own mission, I can just kind of look around, and I feel like I look around and see like a lot of different like examples and moments of like, oof, like this isn't good, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
What do you reckon, if you could give some advice to the listeners, what are the signs that someone should break up?
That's a good question. You know what? My big thing is this is even too. Maybe this is too genuine? But my big
sincere on main.
Yeah, too sincere. Is like if hanging out with the person feels like, and this is something I've only just learned, but if hanging out with this person, if it feels like you're using your social battery, then maybe it's not a good mix. If you're with the person and you don't feel like you're using up any social thing, then it's kind of a good mix. And then I don't know, yeah, maybe that's like a nice starting point.
Yeah.
Because if you're like, fuck, why am I always so? It's like, because I have to keep I have to keep performing for this person, and when I settle down, it's awkward, or it doesn't. We can't actually sit in each other's energy.
No, that's
Maybe.
great advice.
Yeah, maybe.
It is.
back
That's
that.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And if I can make it about sex, which we don't have to, but I will, we always talk about this idea that we learn through porn, which is that sex is a performance, and that your like body and or your skills are on display to another person. And that is when, like, that would be my version of bad sex, is when you feel like you're having to perform. And then my version of good intimacy is when you're just like focused on each other and you don't feel like you're having to expend too much energy. Like, if you want to pick up the pace, that's fine. But I mean like emotional energy or like social energy, like it just feels connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I that is a very great point.
Thank you, Will. I'm so glad I said it.
Your latest stand-up show is called Confidence. Tickets, where can we get you?
In the link in my Instagram, you can get tickets. So Adelaide, I'm sold out, unfortunately, but Melbourne, there's still a lot of tickets. Sydney, there's some tickets. Yeah.
We're curious. How do you feel like your confidence has changed over time when it comes to dating? Where did it start? Where is it now?
You know what? It's kind of gotten. Oh man, it's really tough because maybe it's gotten lower. Is that
Really?
crazy? Yeah, maybe it has.
And why?
Because when I was like younger, I felt desirable, you know what I mean? Older guys showing me interest. It was really like, oh, hell yeah. And then like, it kind of, as I guess became maybe recognizable, I get like maybe nervous about, not that I think I'm worth this, but like I get nervous like, oh, like maybe is this person just talking to me for the lols or for the meme or something like that. Like, not that I think I'm worth, the lols or the memes, but
We think
that
you
just
are.
goes to, oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
But that goes through my mind. And then like, yeah, I don't know, like that, it's gotten lower, but also it's gotten better, I think as well, since what we'll go into next. But like, yeah, I would say like, I think I know what I want now. Like I know when I meet up with someone, like I get the feeling of like, is this something that is like, am I just exerting myself for no reason or da-da-da-da-da. So I feel like I'm more selective on my dates now, but yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
That sounds so shit to have that fear of like being lolled or memed. You reckon that comes from just like being on like an online presence that then like you might get X amount of DMs a day that are doing that and like making you go, oh fuck, I hope this doesn't happen in real life.
Yeah, maybe like on like Hinge or something, like you'll see people and their first message will be like, oh my God, like da-da-da-da-da. And then, that kind of creates like an inbuilt sort of power dynamic where it's like, is this a fan or whatever? So that's something that I'm conscious of. But like, I think like, I'm just not a confident person. Sometimes I am though. Sometimes I'm really arrogant. So I think my confidence in different areas is all over the place. So yeah, sometimes it's low on dating, but again, sometimes it's high. So maybe, what I would say is it fluctuates.
Okay.
Maybe that's a better way to say it.
Beautiful encapsulation.
Yeah.
Politician on the show.
I also think like the more dating experiences you have, or the more situations you put yourself in, the more likely you are to have rejection. And dating apps particularly have like industrialized rejection.
Yes.
It used to be that you'd like make a move on someone at a bar and then perhaps you got rejected. But now it's like you can get rejected 50, 60 times in a night
Yeah.
through a swipe. And that can knock your confidence too if you're not like inherently resilient or don't have heaps of confidence in the first place. So I can see how it would wax and wane over time.
Yes. Yeah. It's very like, it
beautiful
depends.
metaphor.
Honestly, if I have a good haircut and I'm having a good skin day, like my confidence is like, you cannot even touch me. I'm like a god.
Don't even look at me.
But like, yeah, literally.
All right, time for the quickie. Belle, what have we got?
We're going to be talking about circumcision today. So generally when we think about circumcision, we're thinking about this procedure being performed on infants for a myriad of reasons, whether that's cultural or religious or just personal. But today we just really want to focus on adults who choose to have this procedure later in their lives. So just as a quick overview, adult circumcision is a surgical procedure where you remove the foreskin from the penis, and the foreskin is a retractable, double-layered fold of skin that protects the head of the penis. Just so we all know what we're talking
So
about.
its purpose is protection.
Yes.
Okay.
Double layered is news to me.
Yeah.
Okay, please carry on.
I will. It's a same-day procedure which is performed under either local or general anaesthetic. It only would really take up to an hour, and then you go home same day, and it will take about 4 to 6 weeks to completely recover from, with like varying degrees of recovery throughout that process. Any questions so far?
No, I think I'm wondering perhaps like why an adult might choose to do this, but I'm assuming you'll get to that.
Oh gosh, I will.
Okay.
I will tell you right now. So adults would most commonly choose to have this procedure because they're struggling with the foreskin being too tight, which causes pain, particularly during intimacy, or they might be struggling with hygiene because you need to like pull that skin back to be clean, or recurrent infections like UTIs or something like that. I mean, it could be for cosmetic reasons, but we have a lot less stats on that because it would be done as like a private procedure rather than Medicare. So what I will say though is that we know that around approximately 20% of men in Australia are circumcised, but that has dropped pretty significantly from around the 1950s when it was at the highest, which was around 80 to 85% of Australian men.
Why has that dropped
Wow.
so much?
The idea is that most of the time why a child would be circumcised was because they wanted the child to match their father, like match in the sense that it's like, oh, why does my penis look different to daddy's? But as it's become like less as part of the zeitgeist as something that you need to have medically for your hygiene, once like hygiene practices have become more aware, like you just need to clean that area, it's become less prevalent, and that's kind of why it goes down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but with adult circumcision now, it's quite hard to determine like the exact number, and that's because we can only really look at the Medicare rebates that we see, which would mean that it's a medical procedure, rather than maybe one that's done for cosmetic reasons, which is also perfectly valid. But what we can see through like last year's Medicare rebates, that we're looking at less than 5,000 people in Australia that have had an adult circumcision. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So very interesting.
And we have one of those lucky few with us today.
Yes, we
Boom.
do.
Hashtag cut. My rap name's Chopcock. Isn't that good?
It's really
Very good.
Thank you.
So, Will, why did you get circumcised?
For the reason explained before about tightness. So my foreskin was very tight. It always was. Embarrassing story alert. This is so embarrassing. But
I'll share an embarrassing one off the back.
Okay.
Just to be right there with you.
This is bad. When I was like 14 or 15, I went swimming in the ocean and I got like dumped by a wave. And then I was like, oh, why does it feel so sensitive? And I pulled my pants down and like my head was pulled all the way back. First time I've ever seen the head of my penis. So then I told all my friends at school the next day, I was like, guys, guess what? On the weekend, like, or in the holidays, I got dumped by the water and my foreskin was past my head. And everyone went, what? And I went, yeah, I saw my whole head of my penis. And everyone went, you're meant to. I'm like, what the hell? So I go home that night and I want you to imagine what a 14-year-old boy's penis would look like hygiene-wise if it had never been pulled back before. So it was disgusting. So then it was like 2 years of like, anyway, regardless.
Excavating.
It was like calcified to the head.
I have a question.
An archaeological dig.
Did
Yeah.
you get any education around
Hell no.
hygiene? Wow. How do you feel about not getting any education?
I feel disgust. I was like, what a chat little kid. Like, I can't believe that was what
What
was
a
going
deep
on.
injustice.
I know,
That's
literally.
what I want to say.
So that happened. And then, yeah, after my first like few sexual encounters, I had two options. Either A, I tell the guy like once we've, gone back to my house or whatever, his house, and I'm like, hey, just so you know, I can't really do anything because of this reason. And a lot of the time, maybe like 2 or 3 times I'd been met with like, oh, like, okay, like whatever. And I kind of felt that guilt. So carrying that guilt, the next time I saw someone, which probably knowing me would have been about 8 months later, it was like, I was like, shit, I can't say anything. So I would have whatever, like try and have sex or like get a blowjob or something and just be in like literally like gripping the bed like in excruciating pain because this person's like like that, like tearing at it. So it's like they were my two options, which sucked. And then after, I was like, I'm done with this. Like sex cannot be something scary for me. Like I have to embrace that it can be something nice. So
Did you have any friends that had a similar experience or anyone that you could speak to that could shed some light on this?
yes, yeah, I was really lucky that I had a good friend who had been through it. Two actually, but one person had really helped me through it. And then once I got it done, I got another message from someone that was like, hey, like I've just had mine done. And this was like 8 weeks after mine. And I was like, dude, I'll run you through everything.
Wow, 4 of the 5,000 all friends.
Literally, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
I think it's such a common experience, and like until we were chatting about having you on, and then going, oh, he's had an adult circumcision, and it's for these reasons. Did it not like click for me? Like, oh my god, other people might have had like a similar moment in their upbringing to me, because I was like a similar age, watching porn and being like, oh, I guess my penis will look like that when I'm an adult, and then like clocking, oh no, I have a foreskin.
Yeah.
And like the whole glorified like, oh, how good's a blowjob feel? It's like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, I love
bro.
it.
I love it more than you, bro. That's how good it feels. Yeah.
And then like I had the most awkward conversation with an older cousin about like, why is this, like what's going on? And he like
Was that
told
around
me
sexual discomfort or
Yeah.
just like general discomfort?
both. And he like told me when I was like 16 in the shower, just like pull it back as much as you can and just like touch it and desensitize it. And then like do that for as much as you can, and then maybe do that when you're like masturbating and get used to it. I was like, oh my God, that like changed, I reckon, my like trajectory of enjoying sexual experiences.
How long did that take?
I don't remember, but it wasn't a massively fast process. And it was also when it started to like feel okay and like not super sensitive and uncomfortable. It's like when you have something new and you can't wait to go and use it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, like I don't feel like shame and guilt around it anymore. Which was, yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. People were like, put marbles in there, stretch it out, all these different things. And I was just like, I'm just going to cut it off. Like, I was like, I'm just going to cut it off. Like, let's just do a clean cut. Like, done.
And have your
cut.
sexual experiences improved since then?
Yeah, like, thankfully, yes. Like, yes, they have. And one time I was like, oh my God, this is what a blowjob is. Actually, that's too far. But like,
Guys, it's actually really nice.
And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, this is actually really cool. So yes, and like, but yeah, yes.
Interestingly
Which is
as
great.
well, if like porn is the default sex educator, if you're looking at penises that don't look like yours, because most porn is made in America and they stay pretty consistent with their circumcision rates at like over 50%. So it would be quite confusing, I think, for a lot of Australians to be like, oh, but what do we do about this skin here? For anyone that's like giving or receiving a blowjob, for example, like you wouldn't necessarily know what to do with that.
Yeah.
If I can have a little moment for the ladies too,
Please.
a lot of the like labia, like the vulva representations in pornography are like neatly tucked away, and people without protruding outer labia. Again, because labiaplasty, which is like a genetic modification surgery, elective, is really on the rise.
Wow.
And commonly that's just kind of what you see in porn. Not saying that every vagina shown in porn has had labiaplasty, but that people with quote unquote innies are more commonly represented. And I had that same feeling of like, what is wrong with my poussoir?
Not a thing, babe.
Yeah, and turns out I'm actually in the majority. But there is like, if we do take porn as a default sex educator, as you said, there is such a lack of representation, and it leaves us all like really bloody ashamed of ourselves and not knowing what to do about it.
What's so good to like talk about it openly. Like, oh, we're all having like similar experiences, varying levels, obviously. And so if you're like willing to continue speaking about it, like I'm curious about the recovery process for you.
Recovery is interesting because so it's 6 weeks. That's like the time that you have. It's kind of 6 weeks until you can like masturbate is sort of like the clock there. The first week was like I was pretty bedbound. it was really uncomfortable for me. Some people have it differently though. One of my mates did it and the next day, like literally fine and barely. But for me, it was like I am bed bound for like a week. And then the next week was like putting on undies, like slowly, like showering was really tough if the water hit it. Like the first 2 weeks was really rough.
I was just going to ask if that was more because it was painful or because it was sensitive.
It's the sensitivity. It's the overwhelming. Like you're not really in like I didn't feel pain. It was sensitivity. And that it was such overwhelming sensitivity. Like even wind on it, you just felt your whole body like shake and all that sort of stuff. So that was like 2 weeks was really rough. And then from weeks like 2 to 4, it's kind of like you're aware of it a lot. I think I masturbated week 5 or something.
Wow,
and that was really awkward. I know. And I still had like the stitches fall out eventually.
Awkward with yourself.
Yeah. I was like, sorry, I'm never normally like this. Yeah. But I would say like right now it feels really normal and it's been a year. So I reckon like the actual like recovery of like you completely forget that you're circumcised is probably like 8 months.
Okay.
It's probably 8 months until you're like, oh yeah, like I just have a penis. Whereas after like the first like 2 months, you just kind of like, or 3-4 months, you're just like, oh yeah, like I can tell I'm circed and it's a bit uncomfortable and I'm still learning things out. Yeah.
Can I circle back to when you were saying how painful and uncomfortable sex was, which sounds horrible, by the way. And it sucks that you had those experiences, but I feel like most of us kind of grow up with the narrative of like sex will be painful for women at first and you push through it and then that's it and then it's good. But there's not much of like a narrative that sex will be uncomfortable for guys. How, like I know you kind of said you just decided not to do it, but how did that feel to be like, am I the only fucking person having uncomfortable sex? Like what's going on?
Yeah, I feel like I have that thought a lot when it comes to like sex and stuff like that of being like, am I the only person here? Like I think it's especially that like even with like I don't know. It was weird. It felt very isolating. But I think that the funny thing is like the more you talk to like all it takes is to just find one person and then that person knows someone and like everyone does know. I just think there's that thing, especially in all male environments of like peacocking each other and like this and that. Like the one thing I've always found so weird is like every single, you know, bloke that, you know, I speak to has a dick that's bigger than 6 inches. Like no guy ever has.
How are you all above average?
Yeah, I'm like, how are you all above average? I'm happily sitting on average, if not slightly below. Like I don't give a fuck. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but I'm out here repping that. But some people are just like, yeah, mine's like 7, or mine's 8, 6, 7, 8, 8. I'm like, fucking
6,
hell. Yeah. Oh.
So sorry. I really want to cut that.
No, you have to keep it in.
For those on audio, I just did the 6-7 head movement.
You have to keep it in.
I just wanted to pick up as well that, like, Anthony, you spoke about this idea of sex needing to hurt for women. And that is something that's sold to us when we're really young. We're taught that, like, the first time we have it will bleed. And it's true that there is a bit of stretching of the hymen that can happen, or, like, it can, quote unquote, break for the first time. But there is also so much that you can do to make sex more enjoyable and make it not hurt. And oftentimes it hurts because you haven't been adequately lubricated, either by like foreplay that focuses on your stimulation or by lubricant that you can buy and then use. And you can take it slower. Like the way to stop sex from hurting is probably just to slow down and maybe like you don't even have to do penetration if that's not what you want to do, or just wet the area more. I just think the whole idea like sets us up to fail and forces us into continuing sex that is uncomfortable. It's really not meant to be uncomfortable.
No, I couldn't agree more. It's a fantastic point. And just, we are going to wrap up soon, but I do have one more question. Will, you mentioned sort of finding that one person that you can talk to. What did that conversation look like, or how did you bring it up with sort of that one person to kind of discuss this topic? Because I'm just thinking about like, back when I was young, I really didn't know where to start with a conversation like this, and it would have been really like valuable to hear that someone else had kind of done it or maybe laid a foundation.
I think for me, like, I'm very lucky, like, and I don't know if it's just like a thing in like the creative world, but I find that like a lot of my friends are often like, you know, like I've got such a varying age gap on both sides of like my friendships. And a lot of the time, like, I've gotten so much like wisdom from like my older gay friends, you know, who I'll be like, oh, like this or that. And I've met them on the comedy scene or family friends or whatever it is. And like, they have helped me a lot or like taught me a lot. Like, oh yeah, like, don't worry, I was like this as well. And this. And then like, you kind of gain, I guess, a sense of confidence. And then I think even friends your my age as well, like I do find that like people are more open to talking about it than maybe you might perceive. Like, but I feel like embarrassment is, we've been conditioned to think that embarrassment is like the worst thing ever. And even if I boil it down to like me having to lie there and get a painful blowjob because I'm embarrassed to stop it, or as you were talking about before, like women having to, you know, go through painful sex because they would feel potentially embarrassed to stop it. Like, we always think like embarrassment is so bad, but like you're only embarrassed if you let yourself be embarrassed. So if I go to someone with a question that is deemed embarrassing, like I actually don't think it is embarrassing if you approach it in a certain way. So I think those sorts of topics and conversations like that are sensitive. It's just the matter in which you handle them and the way in which you approach different conversations or scenarios that end in good results, I think. Yeah.
And embarrassment only breeds in silence as well, or like shame breeds in silence. It's not until you like speak the words or ask the question that it can all just disappear. Like a lot of it's anticipatory embarrassment.
Yeah,
but it's not
yes.
actual
So
in response to what's happening.
Yeah, it's completely especially when I'm like, oh, I got to go to the doctors and show her my penis, and I'm in my head, I pull my pants down, and she goes like that. Oh my god, everyone get in here! Look at this. But literally, it's like, shh, oh cool, yep, okay. Well, she didn't say oh cool, but, but she was just like,
She said,
okay,
"That's
yeah,
perfectly fine."
Yeah. I'm used to it.
Whoa!
But yeah, I think maybe that is my response. Don't deem it as embarrassing. Deem it as just like an opportunity for a sensitive discussion with a friend. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Fucking great advice. Well, that's a wrap on the ep. Thank you, Will.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
Will.
Thank you, Tess.
And thank you to Anthony and Annabelle.
Thanks,
you
guys.
can follow Teach Us Consent on @TeachUsConsent across all social platforms. You can follow Will Gibb on
Instagram, Will Gibb.
He's not convinced.
Good luck out there. It's a pretty generic name. So
Yeah. Oof.
Leave a comment on Spotify as well. Make sure you follow us on Spotify as well so you get notified when our latest ep drops.
And if there's anything you want us to chat about next fortnight, do get in touch. We're all ears. See you next time. Bye.